Looking for a card that's a little extra creative? What about a swinging card? Friends, these are so easy to create using any shape dies. I'm going to teach you how. Hello, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys are joining me today to make this amazing and creative swinging card. Guys, it doesn't take a lot. Look through your dies. We're going to find those shape dies. And I've got one amazing tip to making these super easy. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. I know you're going to love creating these cards. I'll tell you what, we're going to start with our cupcake birthday card today. Lots of polka dots going on here. Friends, let's go ahead and go over the supplies we need to create this swinging card. Now, you're not going to need to write any of the measurements down. I've got a free download that goes along with today's video. You'll have the measurements. You'll have the supply list. You will also have photos. And then if you need to order any of the supplies I used, guys, you can just click on that free download, click on that image, or you can just follow this link and you can order any of the supplies I used. If you're in the United States, I would absolutely love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And with that, let's get started. I have a piece of bubble bath cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5, and I have 2 score lines. So with the 8.5 at the top, you're going to score it 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And that is going to basically make us just a simple little accordion fold. I've got 3 pieces of basic white, a 3 by 6, a 4 by 5 1/4, and a 2 3/4 by 1/2 inch. The last thing you're going to need are a couple pieces of melon mambo. This is a 3 1/4 square, and this will be a 3 inch by 3/4 of an inch. That's it. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, you're going to need a shape die set. I'm going to use the stylish shapes. And for this card, we're going to use the circles. Now, it could be the squares. That wouldn't be a problem at all. I'm going to use the largest and the next to the largest. And let's bring in our cardstock. So the largest circle, and you're going to see that the largest circle will be about a 3 1/4. So we're going to do that on the melon mambo. And then this is the smaller one. And friends, we're going to need to die cut 2 of these circles from this 3 by 6. We've got those die cut. Now, I want you to hold on to the smaller one out of the 2. Remember, we used the largest and the second to largest. Go ahead and hang on to the second to largest because we're going to need that to die cut here to create our swing card. Now, before we do that, we're going to do a little stamping first, all right? So I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to put some grid paper underneath me. I'm going to open up my card. In fact, I think I'll do it this way. I've got a Melon Mambo ink pad, and I'm going to use what I like to call one of my favorite stamps, and that is a fresh pencil eraser. Guys, it makes a wonderful rubber stamp, makes great polka dots. So I'm just going to use that eraser just like a little stamp. All right, very simple. We're going to do this here on this side with the 2 score lines. All right, we are not going to go beyond the 4 1/4 inch. So you can see it's just a very random pattern. I love creating with pencil erasers. It really is so much fun. Now, when I finish with this, I'm actually going to be using it again. So I'm not going to clean it just yet. But guess what? When you are ready to clean this, it's so easy. You're just going to use your chamois, your Stampin' Scrub, whatever it is you usually clean, or you can just rinse it under some water because that is a water-based ink. All right, I'm going to finish polka dotting. And as I said, we will be doing some more polka dots here in just a minute, but we're ready to go ahead and create our circle. So the first thing I'm going to do, remember I said to hold on to this, the second from the largest. And what I'm going to have you do is just out of some scratch paper. This really needs to be something thin. So copy paper, grid paper, junk mail, it does not matter. We are going to cut a circle out of something thin like that. Now, what I've done is I've just folded it in half, all right? That's just going to help me know what the center of my circle is. I'm going to come back in with my die, all right? And you're going to kind of feel it kind of lock right into place. Can you see? I just want to make sure that I can get that all lined up. Now I want this to hold on. So what I'm going to do is I've got some painter's tape, and I'm going to put a little bit there and a little bit there. That's just going to ensure that that's going to hold in place. I'm going to bring in my dies, and I've got plate 1, thin die adapter 2, and cutting plate 3. Now, here's what we are going to do. I'm going to take this circle die, and remember, that's just copy paper in there, but that great straight line, that is what we're going for. We are going to line up that fold with this score line, all right? And that painter's tape will hold it right in place. Now, where this goes on your card itself, all right, you can take it up, just give yourself about 3/4 of an inch up here. But if you want to bring it down, you can bring it down. We just don't want to get right up here at the top. But again, I'm just going to come in, kind of decide where I want that to go, line up that score, and I'm going to give that a press. Now it is secure. Let's bring in our machine. All right, I've got those 3 plates right there. I'm going to take the second cutting plate, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of tuck it into the machine. All right, can you see that? I'm going to sort of push my plates in. This is lifted right here. All right, I don't know if you can see that in the video. I'm going to take my cardstock, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up that plate right along that score line, because this is the only part we want to cut. That's what's going to create that great swing. And guys, I'm telling you, you can do this with so many different dies. I'm going to kind of hold this in place while I get it started, because I don't want it to shift. Once I get to here and I know the machine has a hold of that and my plate is where it needs to be, we can run that through. I'm going to gently remove that painter's tape. By the way, a little tip with your painter's tape, because it is Tuesday tip. I always take my painter's tape after I tear it off, and I just kind of tap it like on my jeans or on a cotton shirt. I want to de-stickify it. I don't want it to be super sticky. And it also does not need to be neat. And I'll just kind of keep reusing these pieces until they just don't really have much sticky left. I'm going to use pocket thoughts for this card. One, I loved the cupcake. We have a yay for you. We have a happy birthday. So it seemed like a really great one for this card. Let's start with the cupcake. And we are going to stamp that in the center of one of our circles. Now I'm going to take the happy birthday, and I'm going to take this is that 1/2 inch by 2 3/4. Let me move these because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I want to stamp happy, 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 but this says happy birthday. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to ink up just the word happy. All right. Can you see that? I'm going to start right here in the middle. Happy right there. Okay. Now, if you catch a little bit, and I did, I'm not terribly worried about it, but you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and just clean the stamp real quick just to make sure I'm good to go. And let's do another happy. Again, just catching just that word. We'll stamp one here, and we're going to get another one here. Now I'm going to take happy birthday, and you know, I think in my sample I used yay for you, but I'm going to change it up. We're going to stamp happy birthday right here, and we've got some little, I don't know, this was actually, these little bursts are made for the diamond ring that's in this stamp set, but it works great for just giving our sentiment a little something. I'll come in with my favorite polka dot stamp here up in the corner at an angle. I'm going to stamp yay for you. Let's add some more of our fun little bursts just to make it a little fun, right? Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add polka dots all down this side. Let me go ahead and bring in some grid paper because I might go off just a little bit. Card. Whoops, I missed that one. Let's try that again. Yeah, anytime you mess up, you just maybe didn't quite get one of these stamped well, you can just come right back over it. It's pretty easy to do. All right, I've got some adhesive on the back. Let's add this one to the inside of our card. Now let's take our 2 sentiments here. I'm going to start, actually, you know what? I didn't finish stamping my cupcake. What was I thinking?
I thought something seemed off. We have, this is a two-step stamp, so we've got some really fun icing. I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to stamp right here on top. And look at that, so pretty. I've got a bubble bath marker. You could also use a Stampin' Blend, whichever you have. And we're going to just color every other line of the cupcake holder, I guess we'll call it, yeah. You know, those cute little paper things that hold your cupcake. I am going to put adhesive all around my circle. I'm going to close my card, so I want that circle facing up. I'm going to add my cupcake. Before I press it down, I do want to kind of tuck it so that none of that white is showing on this side. Before you press it, you want to make sure your cupcake's straight, not crooked. I'm good with that. Now let's bring in that melon mambo. I'm going to flip this open. We'll get some adhesive here. You're going to kind of visualize your circle, all right? I'm going to take the melon mambo. I'm going to put what I like to call ugly side up. There's a pretty side and there's an ugly side. For this, we want ugly side up. And can you see how I'm just closing my card, making sure I've got that centered and set? There we go. Now we've got a pretty side inside. Let's adhere our happy birthday. I think I'm going to do that at an angle. And you know what? I think I'll angle it the opposite direction of that one. If you want to add a few more here up at the top or even down at the bottom, you're going to write your message here. All right. That's going to help you see where to write your message. I think this cupcake needs a little bling. So I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella. And we're just going to add some shimmer. Because, you know, cupcakes. I love the cupcakes that have the little shimmer icing, don't you? All right, so we're going to add that. Hope you can see the pretty little shimmer that gives. We're now going to take our happy, happy, happy. And I'll put some adhesive down this. We're going to add that to that little strip. It's a great way to use up some scraps. And I'm ready to add this to my card. And I want it to be right here. So I want you to see you're only going to put adhesive on half of your cardstock here. All right, so we'll just go to about there. I'm going to center that up. Okay, one last thing, and that is a simple little ribbon. I've got the silver and white shimmer, or not shimmer, sheer ribbon, forgive me. I'm going to press the center of my bow onto a mini glue dot. We're going to press that bow right there. And now one last thing, and that is the adhesive backed discs. I love these things. Now we've got lots of colors here that whoops, I better flip it over. I had it on the wrong side. I'm going to use these lighter pink ones. So we're just going to add a few of these. What I like about these is they are nice and flat, okay? Because you know what happens when they're nice and flat? I could add just a couple, 2 or 3 here on the inside as well. There we go. Okay, now we've got the shimmer, we've got the sheer ribbon, we've got the just the real bling there from those adhesive back discs. This card stands beautifully. I know you guys love cards that stand and really show off. This one definitely does that. All right, we're going to move on to our second card, and this is going to be a great sympathy card.
Don't forget about the free download I have for you that goes along with today's swinging card. You'll find it at simplysimplestamping.com, or if you look down in the YouTube description, I've got a direct link to today's post, and be sure to just download that, save it, print it, so when you're ready to recreate the card, you'll be all set.
You know, fun folds don't just have to be for fun cards. You know, this sympathy card, you've got a great place to write a message. Again, a great card to display. I think this card, just being a little bit different, but those more muted colors lent itself perfectly to a sympathy card. So for this card, we're going to use the Nested Essentials dies. So just like before, remember how we picked the largest and then the second to the largest? We're going to do that again. And you've got 2 pieces of basic white cardstock that you're going to die cut these. I'm going to give you a little tip. we're going to do something a little bit different with this one, okay? I wanted to give it a nice simple background, but maybe you don't have an embossing folder that would work, so let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Simply Scored board, and I'm going to take, I believe this is a 2.5 by 4 3/4, and I'm going to use the kind of the thin ball of my stylus tool, and I'm just going to score this at every 1/8 inch. So basically, just down every single line. All right, can you see? Just that it's just a quick and easy way to emboss. So I'm going to take the smaller die. By the way, I accidentally cut this at 4.5 instead of 4 3/4. So yours will be the correct size. And then let's go ahead. We're going to die cut from our other piece, the larger of the Nested Essentials dies. All right, just like we did before, we're going to take the smaller of the two. We're going to cut ourselves a piece of copy paper. And again, we're just going to fold it in half. It's really easy to figure out the 1/2 inch mark. Remember how we just laid our die right on top of that copy paper? And then just held it in place there with our painter's tape. So our card base this time is in Moody Mauve, and it is the same 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. But for this card, we're going to use some designer series paper. I have a piece of 6 by 6 designer series paper. This is from the 2023-2025 in colors. So just a piece of 6 by 6. I'm going to cut this down to 6 by 5 1/4. So we'll cut that strip off. That's a great one I'll be able to use on another card. So now we're going to take the 6 inches up at the top. Let's do just a cut at 1 7/8. All right, we'll cut there 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then with what's remaining, we need to cut it down to 4. So there's just going to be just a little 1/8 of an inch left off there. So that's going to be scrap. We're going to take those pieces of designer series paper. This one will go right here on the inside of my card. This one is going to go on that outside flap. And now we're ready to do our die cutting. Remember, we used the smaller of the two dies that we used, and just like before, I die cut myself a piece from copy paper or junk mail. We're going to fold it in half. It's a very simple one to fold in half. Remember the trick, which was, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to lay my copy paper or junk mail right inside. I'll flip it over. Now I can come in with that painter's tape just to kind of give it that extra security. I'm going to bring my card back in, and just like before, I can see that score line along with the score line on my card. This one, though, we are going to center from top to bottom. It's a much longer and larger die. When you're all centered up, give that a press. Time to bring in the die cutting machine. Plates 1, 2, and 3 go in. We're going to take our last number 3 cutting plate. Remember, it goes into the machine. We're going to put that kind of way up here at the top. I like to give these plates just a little push. It kind of helps get things going. There's a lip underneath here. We'll take our card stock, line it up on that score line, give that a push so that the rollers are kind of catching it. Once it's got a hold of it, you're good to go. And then, just like before, we have our swing. Friends, I'm telling you, the only thing you have to remember is you're only going to cut on this first panel, that 2 1/8 panel. All right, let's go ahead. We're ready to do some stamping. I'm actually going to be using 2 stamp sets. I wanted a flower, and actually I'm going to be using the Flowers of Beauty bundle because we're going to do a little die cut, but I needed these flowers, but you notice there's no sentiment in this stamp set. So I brought in Unbounded Love, and we're going to say peace, and then we're going to use the With Sympathy. With a Moody Mauve ink pad, I will start here with my With Sympathy. This is where you're going to write your message. So we're going to give ourselves enough room to write. And this is the panel that will be kind of there in the inside of the card. And we're going to say, my heart goes out to you. Just a nice little sentiment. We're going to come back in with grid paper because we're going to use it again. I have got the 2 flowers, so there's an inside and an outside. And I'm going to use the solid, which is going to be for the inside. I'm going to ink it up in Moody Mauve, and I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm just going to stamp that down here in the corner. Now I can take the outline stamp, and it can go right on top. I gotta tell you, one great thing about this, perfection's not the name of the game. It kind of has a really nice watercolor look. So don't get all wrapped up in it being perfect, because we don't need perfection on this. I'm gonna add a few more flowers. Again, just kind of stamping off as I go. And now I can just go over it with the outline stamp. We're going to take the word piece, and I've got just a little, this is a 3/4 by 1 3/4 piece of basic white. Let's put everything together. We're going to start with that embossed. Remember that little faux embossing that we did? Remember, we want it to kind of line up here so the inside looks pretty. Now we'll open the card. We're going to put our With Sympathy here on this panel. Now it's time for this one. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of center that up, kind of get it about wherever you want it, but I think I like that. I'm going to lay my card flat. I hope that you guys could see how I did that. I'm not going to press it down hard just yet. Yep, I think I'm happy with that. I always like to make sure everything's good before I press. There's that part of my card. I got my little piece and a little, let's see, that would be a 1 by 2 Moody Mauve. Now this one, it's going to attach all the way over to the edge of the designer series paper, and here's why. It wouldn't flip if we brought it out. If we brought it out, it wouldn't work. So make sure we're going to add our adhesive here, and when we add it, go all the way over to the edge of that designer series paper, and that way you're sure to open. Now, what are we going to do here? This is where we're going to bring in the bundle from the Flowers of Beauty. And this is the last bit of die cutting and all we're going to do, which is this. Now, you're going to notice that my piece of Moody Mauve, it's 2 by 4.5, but you notice how this hangs off? I want it that way. So I'm going to have you die cut it like this, all right? I'm going to use multi-purpose glue. You could also use your fine tip glue. And I'm just dotting on some multi-purpose glue, all right? Just dot, dot, dot. We're going to pick that up, and we will simply add this. Maybe I should have left my piece off until I got it on there, but that's fine. We'll add that right there. Isn't it so pretty? Let's do a little linen thread. I just think it needed one more little touch. I've got a little linen thread bow. I'm going to take a mini glue dot, and I'm going to roll it into a little ball. You can kind of decide where you want it to go. Press the center of the bow into that little rolled up ball, and friends, there we go. We've got a beautiful sympathy card. I think anyone would really appreciate this one. Like I said, fun folds don't have to be just for fun cards, right? Friends, there we go. 2 really easy swing cards. I want you to challenge yourself with the shape dies that you have. Have fun with this one. Practice first if you'd like. Practice maybe with some copy paper or just some cardstock, maybe something you've messed up on. That's a great way to just get that chance to give this one a try.
If you enjoyed today's video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And hey, why not subscribe to the channel? I share twice a week here. Lots of fun fold and creative ideas await you. Ring the bell and YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with a new video. Thank you again for being here, everybody. I can't wait to stamp with you next time. Bye-bye.